Why do we really collect Pokemon cards? Is it about the money? Or is it something deeper? Today I'm sharing my own story, and it might just change how you think about your own collection. If you think Pokemon is just about cashing in on the hype, then this video is for you. Here's why my passion goes way beyond the market and why it might do for you too. Hey everyone, my name's Ryan and this is Pulls and Positivity. We cover everything Pokemon TCG related, from pack openings, hot topics, new set releases, all the info and guides on where you can buy Pokemon cards, how to find Pokemon cards, and lots of help for new collectors and old collectors if you've been collecting for a long time as well. Today I want to share with you something a little bit different. So this is my personal story and why I believe that Pokemon cards goes way beyond just the money, the market, and just cashing in on the hype. It's not about collecting cards just as investments. We are here to enjoy the hobby and so much more. It's about the joy, the memories, and the incredible community that Pokemon can bring together. So grab a seat, let's dive in. For me personally, it all started with childhood memories. The magic of discovering Pokemon cards, trading with friends on the playground, going around to each other's houses, seeing each other's card collections. I don't know what it was about Pokemon cards when I was younger that just captured my attention so much. It could have been the artwork, it could have just been the excitement of when you finally get your first holographic card and it's one of the big hits, or it's something that everyone else looks at and is in amazement of, and you know you've got something in your collection that people really admire and you admire as well. I still remember how thrilling it was to hold those cards and imagine the battles they represented. I did try to play when I was younger. My dad, bless him, tried his best to try and play with me. I don't think we ever really got the concept of it, but we tried. And again, that's another memory that I will always have. And back then wasn't just about the cards themselves. Pokemon brought connections. It brought us together in a way that nothing really does now. This was in a time before social media. We were building friendships, learning to trade fairly, and the sense of community was a lot more real even than it is now. And I think if you look at the hobby now, the reason a lot of people sort of middle-aged, when I say middle-aged, around 25 to 35-ish people around that age, is because for us, we grew up on Pokemon. When we were young was a time that Pokemon was just first booming, when it just became a thing. And the nostalgia is really real for a lot of people when collecting cards nowadays. And I think that's why there's been a shift. I mean, on my channel personally, I think the average age is between 25 and 35. And I think that speaks a lot for the nostalgia that these cards can carry. Now, I know the hobby today is full of hype, the market trends, the chase for the next big investment. But for me, the true value is in discovery. And I think the reason for this sort of sudden fluctuation in everyone wanting to invest in Pokemon cards, or everyone getting involved for the wrong, what I would call the wrong reasons, investments, all about it for the money, really came around, I'd say personally, around the Pokemon Go boom era. When Pokemon Go first came out, that was a time where I'd actually been out of the hobby for a little while, and Pokemon Go brought everyone back. And I think in that time, the nostalgia was so much that people were getting out their old collections from when they were younger. We're talking base set, first edition, all that original stuff. And I realized at that time, all of a sudden, these cards just skyrocketed in value, because all of a sudden, it was a big thing again and everyone wanted these cards. And what that generated was this kind of hype and realization that, oh, I've been hanging on to this old collection that I'd forgotten about for the last 10, 15 years. And now all of a sudden, oh my God, it's worth all this money. Wow, I'm going to sell it, or whatever they might choose to do with it. Some people obviously keep it because they cop back in and they enjoy keeping them. And a lot of other people didn't have their cards from when they were younger. I am unfortunately one of them. I've looked high and low for my Pokemon cards from when I was young. And I just don't know what happens to them. They should be at my mum and dad's house, but I think they're gone forever, unfortunately. And that made people want to buy them, and all of a sudden all the prices went up. And then little money signs started to go off in certain people's eyes that have that kind of, unfortunately, that I'm going to jump on anything to make money, Oh, what can I take advantage of? There's people like that out there. And that was a big time where people started to realize, oh, okay, this is now something I can do as an investment. When these cards get old, they're worth money. So now, all of a sudden, you've got all these people in the hobby that are like, okay, I'm just going to hang on to loads of seal products. I'm just going to start trying to buy stuff up. And then in 10, 15 years' time, it'll be worth loads of money. And that's kind of what's happening, to be honest, at the moment. But then there's a lot of people like me that have just a sentimental meaning behind the cards that they're collecting. They remind me of like really special moments. I still remember times where I was like, been out to the shops and mum and dad had bought me a pack of cards, and I was in the car on the way home opening them up hoping that I'd get something amazing. And I don't really know what any of the cards were back then, but I knew, oh, there's a little star and that means it's rare. Oh my god, I've got a rare card. And I remember getting really happy about a trainer card that wasn't even hollow because, oh, it's got a star on it and that means it's good. And it seems so silly looking back at it now, but I have those memories. And I think my motivations have evolved over time. They have evolved from back then. What started as just a game grew into an appreciation of the artwork. And I think that came with age. As I got older, my reasons for collecting changed a bit. It did grow into that appreciation of the art, into the history of the cards, and the stories behind the cards. I think me, as well as everyone, builds a collection that represents them. If you look at anyone's collections, they will all be different. I have this thing where I just love being really OCD about stuff. My collection is so organized. And I just love, it's my OCD, it's I don't know what it is, my autism, whatever, that just has this fixation on everything being perfect, everything being in order, and just looking amazing. And that's what I try to achieve all the time. And honestly, Pokemon has become kind of a therapy for me. It's a mindful escape from the stress of everyday life. It's a space where I can focus on something creative and positive. And that's the reason behind the channel as well. I think the channel allows me to express myself or share my passion with other people. And it allows me, I think, to try and do what I think is right in hobby, which is to try and fix. And I know it's a tall order and I'm only one voice, but if you don't stand up for yourself and if you don't stand up for a hobby that you're passionate about, then you will never get anywhere. And I think I want to stand up for what I feel is right in the hobby, and I feel like I want people to be able to get cards at the price they should be. I don't want people being scalped or out-competed by bots online and all the negativity that is coming into this hobby now. And I feel like whilst I'm able to share in my passion and my enjoyment of the hobby, it also gives me a platform to do my best to try and make some kind of change or just bring to light the issues that are ongoing. Now, the other reason I said it's become like a little therapy for me is because I have been in and out of the hobby. I haven't always been in Pokemon. And I thought this, and then I actually thought back and I thought maybe I have, but not always in Pokemon cards. I think I collected Pokemon cards, moved into the Pokemon games when I wasn't really collecting cards, but I was still very much enjoying the games, going through like Silver, Gold, and then like Ruby and Sapphire, like my favorite, and going into later ones and then playing Pokemon Go and then get back into TCG again. And I think the time where I really got in, and a lot of people, which is another boom in the Pokemon TCG world, was around lockdown. When COVID happened, I think Pokemon became a big release for a lot of people. It's something that they all got into, including me. And I got in around the time that Vivid Voltage was released. And I remember sitting here during COVID, having a load of free time. And it became just like this little space, this little kind of therapy for me, this something that I was enjoying. Just my own little space away from everything that was going on in the world at the time. And that's what really hooked me back in, and I've been back in ever since then, to be honest. And another thing that truly makes this hobby special is the community. Now, I've proved that already in this community. I feel like we, as the Pools of Positivity community, have created such an amazing space. And if you haven't joined the Discord already, please join the Discord. I will leave a link in the description. You can do anything in there. Just ask for advice. Everyone's so friendly. If you're new, you can get advice on anything. If you want to trade, we have trading channels. We have channels where you can share your pulls and hits if you're opening packs. Share your collections, advice, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Pocket, anything. It's all in there. And it is a lovely vibe. We don't accept negativity in there at all. There are so many genuine enthusiasts out there. People sharing lore, showing off their collections, creating amazing projects. I've seen some amazing things we've done with cards. I know people will get mad at, but I've seen sort of 3D artworks with cards and all kind of other things that people create using the Pokemon universe as a tool. And then we can look at the kind of local community that Pokemon makes, the local trade nights and meetups, playing the actual TCG itself. There's nothing quite like that in-person connection. And one of the most beautiful things I've seen actually is the way that people seem to give back, helping new collectors, sharing knowledge, and fostering an environment that's inclusive and supportive. But for me, Pokemon isn't just about collecting cards, it's a creative outlet. Whether I'm photographing cards, displaying them, or making videos for you all, it's a way to express my passion, and it's a hobby of continuous learning as well. Staying updated on new releases, evolving game mechanics, and an ever-growing franchise, there's always something new. They're always pushing new things, trying different ideas, and there's always that sense of something new. Nothing's ever stale. Things are always evolving, and it keeps things fresh and fun. At the end of the day, what I want or hope is that my passion represents a legacy of joy, a reminder that Pokemon is about connection, creativity, and happiness. And that's what I want to share with this community. I want everyone to keep their heads up. Things are slowly getting better. It does seem like things are on the mend. I mean, I don't know what your experiences are, but for me, Black Bolt and White Flare have seemed to be much more readily available than previous sets. The PC drop for Mega Evolutions seemed to go really well and was up for hours, where people were able to get ETBs, booster boxes and stuff. That's the first time I've ever managed to get a PC ETB, so I'm really looking forward to that. Destined Rivals is floating back around again, seems to be a restock of that recently, and there just seems to be a little bit more availability of cards, so I'm hoping that maybe we've turned a little corner here, and we will continue to battle against these scalpers and people that think it's okay to just use this hobby as nothing more than a money-making tool and an investment opportunity, and I hope I can do better for you all. I think one day I'd love to have a little store. If I could get to the point where my channel is big enough and the Discord is big enough where I could look at opening a store where I could provide products for you all at RRP or even below, I don't even care about, as long as I cover my personal costs, I'm not making a loss financially. Even if I can give stuff to you at like the lowest cost I possibly could, I would love to be able to do that. For me, it's not about that. It's about making the hobby accessible for everyone, because I feel like right now you have to have a ton of money to try and get involved in Pokemon, and that's not how I want it to be. It's really not how I want it to be. Even I just got my first lot of cards graded, and it's like going into a war. It's like trying to go into battle just to submit 10 cards to Ace, where there's people submitting hundreds and hundreds of cards, and businesses and submitting hundreds of cards, and then they'll turn around and be like really hostile to you, like, oh, you just not good enough, or like, we're all just average collectors. And I'm like, sorry, but if you're submitting 300 cards, to me that's not like me or everyone that's watching this like an average collector. We don't, 300 cards submitted at like what, 10-15 pound a card. Do the maths on that. What is that? So like $4.5 grand or whatever it is. It's crazy amounts of money, and then they're saying that that's normal. Most normal people, especially kids, if a little kid has just got his first card and he's like, oh, I want to get this graded, they don't stand a chance, and it's not fair. And I think if we're not careful, that will lead to the next generation being completely wiped out of the hobby, and that will lead to, I don't know where that's going to lead, but I just want to do everything I can to create this better space and an environment that fosters like enjoyment out of this hobby, And I know that's what we get in our Discord and in this YouTube community. So yeah, but thanks so much for listening to my story and all of my ramblings there. I don't even really know what this video was, to be honest. I'd love to hear your why too. Why are you in the hobby? What keeps you coming back to Pokemon? Drop a comment below and let's keep this positive, supportive conversation going. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content all about the joy of collecting, playing and connecting. And hopefully together with your help, we can build a community that does much better than what is currently going on in our hobby. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.